Okay, so we are loading our circular column into our project. So the circular column has now been loaded. So we can now create a family type for the circular column. So you can see now we have a circular column of 300, right, in there. Okay, so we can click on edit type. We can click on edit type, duplicate, then let's give it a name to, let's name it circular, or let's see how the rectangular columns were named. Then we follow suit to name our circular column. So rectangular is they give you the size, then the name over there. So let's do the same thing. So there's the size, so the 250 mm. That's all. Okay, that's all the date. So there's the duplicate level 250 and 250 and okay, that's all. I rename. Okay, we cannot rename the family. That's okay. So you see now we have our circular column, which we've modeled. Okay. So that's very fine. So given that, let's do the next one. The next one is our rectangular column, which is 200 by 200. So that's the rectangular column. It's 200 by 200. That's the rectangular column. 200. Excuse me. And this one is a circular column at the diameter of 250. Okay. So basically that's where, so let's go to the same column. Let's click on this one of them. Okay. Then we'll click on edit type because we are not using 300 by 450, 200 by 200. So we duplicate. Okay. That's the steps, follow the steps. So it will be 200 mm by 200 mm like this. You can open. Before you change, you don't change before you duplicate, then you change. Okay. So there's be 200 here. Be 200 over here. Click on OK. So now you have that which you can hover as how you want to do it. So pay attention to that. Very important. Now, what else do we have to moderate in the family type? So we have our footings. Okay, so let's model our footings. So that'll be on foundation, right? So we have foundation, click on isolated over here. Okay. Foundation isolated, then yeah. So we have two types. So let's look at edit type. Click on duplicate first. Then let's change the name. So it's 600. The very first one is 600 by 600 by 200. So 600 by another 600 by 200 by 200. That's the next. So 200 with 600. So this for the six now column. This one is for 600. Okay. So we have that. Okay. Yeah. But we're not doing it now. Yeah, just modeling them down so that when we start, we have everything down. And then we have the next one is where the markups were given 1 meter by 1 meter by 300. So we do the same process again for that one. So edit type, then we duplicate, right? give the 1 meter by another 1 meter by 1 meter by 300. Okay, so that's the same thing we will do here to this. Let's do the 300 over here. Let's give the 1 meter over in the other 1 meter. So now this way, click on OK. Okay, we have that nice thing. Select it again. Let's go to uh, this one. I want to move the C out, the two out of that side. So let's remove this two out. Let's see. Okay. Now the next one is 1.2 by 1.2 by 300. So let's do that type 3. So edit type. So duplicate. Then let's give it that number. It should be 1, 2 by 1, 2, 1 by 1, 2 by 300 by 300, and then the first cancellation. The thickness is 300, width is 1, 200, length is also 1, 200. Just like that. If okay, you have that. Um, okay, so we also have that done. The next thing we have to do after that is our slab modeling. So, let's do for the suspended slab. So for the suspended slab, let's do construction floor structure, the one I'm doing. Okay. There are various types here. So let's select so we have AA slab, let's say AA slab, RSC solid 120, STR. So you can use STR 150. Okay. So this one is already there. So STR 150. Then we are modeling, that's what we are going to use. Okay. So we don't necessarily need to model the slab. Once you're going to model the slab, you just come in and use STR 150. Yeah, I want to discard it for now. And we don't know. Same for the solid slab. Okay. So when we are going to do solid slab, okay, you use this one, the structural foundation slab. Okay. We're going to use one of them. So anything slab related, strip, when we're using doing our strip, everything slab related for foundation, ground floor, strips, footing, we use the foundation area, right? So this we're going to come, we need to model before the foundation. Okay, let me save the project. Saving a project is important. Okay. Let's move away from there. Let's go to our beams. So ground floor, we have 150 by 300. First floor, 200 by 450. Roof floor, 200 by 450. And then staircase, I think so. Okay, so let's click on beams. Let's click on one of these sides. So let's add into the type. Those rectangular duplicates. Very first one you're looking for is what's 150 by 300 mm, right? So and use the same thing 150, 300. That's for our ground floor beam. Okay, we are not doing it now, so we just escape. Click on beams again. Edit type. We'll do the next one. The next one is 200 by, so duplicates, right? Next one is 200 by 450. 200 by 200 by 450. Okay. Move this from there. Okay. So you change it to right. So this is 200 what's by 450. Just like that. Simple as that. Click on apply, click on okay. Okay. So that's what it is. Our model for our build. So we have everything for our beams. Staircase, we are going to look at the requirements when we get there and use that to model our staircase. So now we have everything that we need to start doing our model. So how do you go about this modeling? So first things first, you can start modeling your columns. Okay. So let's go to let's go to our foundation level. Okay, so there's our foundation level. Let's start modeling our columns where these columns are. Okay, so let's look at our reference. So our first column is on grade line 1G. Grade line 1G. Grade line 1G. Let's have them. Look at our column there. Grade line 1G. So this is 1G already. So we have a rectangular column there. 200 by 200, grade line 1G. So before we make placements, right, we have to do certain things. So you see, well, once you click on a column, a context panel, a context panel opens, right? So it asks you a specific question. Do you want depth or heights? And then how do you want it to? So I want it to go height from down to top. And I want it to go all the way to my roof slope. Okay. So there's my foundation that will come to the placement there. Okay. So selected it. So you can see, oh, 1G. I rather put it on one issue. 1G is this one. Okay. When you hover it, so you see it's highlighted. So that's 1G. Have it there. Our next column after that is on two. Another column is on 3G. Okay, 3G, 4G, 5G, 3G, 4G, 5G. 3G, 4G, 5G. No, we have 5G internet. We have 5G. Uh, we have 6G. We have 6G, 7G internet. 6, 7, we have 6, 7, 6. We have 9, 10, 11, 9, 10, 11, 9, 10, 11. We have 9, 10, 11. Okay. Okay. Next one. So we also have a column of 150 by 150. Okay. Let's see what we have for 19. So 150 by 150. And I also have a column of 150 by 150 for the stiffness. So let's model those columns. That's for our stiffness column to edit that. Duplicate 150 by uh, and then yeah, okay, another one. Now let's go But we have artificial color. We have it at grade line each 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. We have one in 6, 7, 8. That's one. And that's for the porch. You got some questions over there. 10, 11. Okay. So have that nicely there. And then which one is the next one? You have so when you're doing that, please remember you always have to check what the levels are going to. So this foundation, these levels, these, so this going to ground floor level, level before the roof level. So you pay attention to that. Make sure you fully see how it's supposed to be done. Okay. So what I come to do next, I come to do we have the line E. Okay, so it follows the same order as the top one. So let's just do it like that. That's the line E. 200 by 200. Let's give column 100 by 300. And let's see. We have one here. We have one here. One. Okay, so we have our point. Why do you have columns again? Let's see. Line B. Those are line B. That's it. That's we have a secular column. So don't go that now. Let's do stuff from 2D, 5D, 2D, 5D. The rest will be relation part. 2D, 5D, 5D. The rest will be the same part. So we are modeling. The next one, we are grade line B. So it's the same person as the next one. Okay. So let's just grade line B. Okay. That basically. Let's see. The additional ones on grade line, grade line A1. So you tune that over the 6, grade line A1 is over place. Once the three grade lines are all highlighted, then you snap it. Okay. Snap it. So we have that also done. What's next? So we're looking at that. Okay, so now we're looking at the circular columns. So the circular columns are two columns close to each other, so they are double column. But yeah, mostly just a circle column at the entrances. So let's see the distance we have from the green line, the center of one column. Let's check it over here. See what that is. See if that's not I just need to see. Okay. So let's read what we have from let's back line. That's it. So this is the line intersection or the center. Midpoint. Midpoint. Am I not seeing? Okay. So yeah, that's that. And from our green line, there's also the central size at least about I won't see I want to have a reference from green line to that and to this see the green line will be 124 for our first column. So let's basically set up the green line B1. Green line B1. That's like 124. Let's measure twice that one. Maybe right. 124. So what we are going to do is that we're going to do the same thing. So before we go, let's give a reference. Let's give a reference. Okay. Let's do the foundation line. So let's do the 124, 164. So we know where the circle starting from. The circular column. We go to structure, column. Let's take our circular column. Like this. Over center of vertical. So we have our column. Also shows one there. So let's get use foundation. Perfect. Now let's do this there. We have the circular column model. We can also do it shaded to the receiver this one. More realistically. Now let's go our next column after that will be our next column for that is also at the distance from this big and let's take line from that zero to the distance down. It's 176. 576. So that's the same thing that you are going to people and 176. The next zero and that's not for one there. So this is where it's sent let's like this column of the students how that project. So about this, I find that column. Let's watch TV and see how it looks like. Okay. So those are two rectangular columns. Then at the end, so we can actually be shaded with the frame. So now what you're basically doing is modeling all the columns that we have in our project. So what do we model now? Let's see if it's modeling. Let's model the other circular columns that we have. We have another circular column on this line B, the line B, line B. So that's part of the column that we have. Let's model that to column. If it's the line B, then we not say that then. And this one here has the another double column just by view. We have to measure with a line from center to center. That should be another thing. What you use the fifty ideas in time many times. So we have 300. Center to center. So we have the things or we can just copy the offset by 300 instead of the copy that and then just give the 300. That's it. Instead of just going to draw it, just then detail 95. It's also other party can do it. Let's see where else we have another circular column that we can model into our project. We have two more circular columns. Okay. One on 2A and another on 5A. Okay, so 2A, 5A, also 300 apart. Let's model structure column 2A, 2A, now 5A. 5A, and let's also them 300 inside, inside outside, 300 inside. So copy, yeah, yeah, yeah. So we have all our clients in our project model. Let's see. So now that we have our columns model, what we can do right now is to model our fitting, right? So we know that our fittings is the next thing that we have to model. We have our markups already, so we can now model our fittings. So this part, it has to a bit tricky, but we have to focus very well and make sure that we understand what we are doing over at this part to model our structural foundation system. Okay, so we have to pay attention to this part. Okay, so we are about to model the structural foundation. So let's pay attention to this particular area. Okay, so this is the column type one with 1.2 by 1.2 by 300. So let's model that one. So we go to structure, go to foundation isolated, and then 1.2 by 1.2 by 300. Okay. The one snap here in the middle. So you get in some errors, right? So you have to make sure that you sort out those errors that you are getting. Okay, so let's go to an elevation view where we'll see this. Okay, before we go there, let's see what they are telling us. That's the error. Let's place this footing there in isolated, and then let's put in this footing. It's not really. So there's an attached structural foundation removed to the bottom of the column, right? So what this is telling us is that our foundation, our column was, we gave our column to be at where? The foundation level, right? So we gave our column to start at the foundation level, right? So it means when you're putting this column, there'll be a clash. And in order for that clash to not occur, what Revit does is that it automatically pushes this column below the foundation, right? So now let's go to a section and see what this is telling us. Let's look at one of the sections. So what that means is that this footing, right, is instead of starting from zero, is rather starting from where? Starting from or ending from below the zero, which we don't want this to be the case, right? We want it to rather be starting from foundation level zero all the way to the top. So how do we achieve this? There are various ways that we can do. We can push this up, selecting it, and say we want this to start at foundation level. How do we do that? Okay, we did that because of the offset. Give it zero, right? Uh, so let's give height offset of 300 because we know that the depth is 300. So let's give this and see what happens. Will be moved to the bottom of the column. Let's see what happens. Let's see. How is that doing that? So we want it to go up 300 and attach to the column be moved to the bottom of the column. It's still not working. Why is it doing that? Height offset from foundation level. Height offset from foundation level. It's foundation ground floor level, first floor level, roof floor. So that's the level that this is supposed to be at. And then let's see our column. Where is our column starting from? So, roof level. So okay. So let's give an offset for the column, right? So let's give base offset of 300. Let's give base offset of 300. Let's see. If we give this 300 over here, what happens? And that will go up. It's not going up. Foundation level. You know, let me see, minus 300. Let's see if it goes down when we do that. So minus 300 goes down. And every 600 is it doesn't want to push it up for whatever reasons. It doesn't want to push it up. Ground floor. And we'll go back to foundation. Let's go to one of the elevations. Let's see. We're supposed to go up, but for some reason, it's now going up, which is strange to me. So we have to figure out why if the using value. Okay, let's switch a different again. Let's figure out why it's behaving that because I've pushed this column up. Okay, so you know what? Let's select that specific column. Let's relate this back. Let's relate this back to now. All right. Now let's go to 3D. Let's select this column. Let's move it up, right? Let's do a base offset of 300. That's right. Mhm. Let's go to this elevation. So yes. So what you can see now is that this when we give that offset of 300 up, we move this column up by 300 so that it give allowance for the footing to be cleaned. So for us to get that correct, let's go to 3D, let's select all the columns, right? So that we don't get that same issue for the remaining ones. Okay. You know, we have some 200, we have this column over here that if the signal ones that will get like the 200. Okay. So, but for starters, because the 300 is a lot, let's just select everything. Okay. And then let's go to filter. Let's check and let's answer that column alone. Then give a base of set of 300 for all of them. And there are various other ways that we can do it, right? Another way that we can do is to escape all this. So just to create another level. You can create a level just for the footing. Okay. So that when you are drawing when you are modeling the columns, you model it just under the level for the foundation. But if in case you want your work to be a bit like this without any too much datum levels, then you have to make sure that your columns are not snapping exactly at the foundation level, else because of the clashes, it will push your footing below that level. Hence, you have a longer column than what will actually be occurring on site. So you have to be very careful with that. Okay, so let's model the other column. Now that we've shot everything up by 300 to give allowance for the footing, let's go to foundation level on the left model. Let's model our. So and I noticed something when we shot the columns up by 300, you notice that now you're not seeing any of the columns on foundation level, right? You're not seeing them. So let me go back. You see, this is prior to us. I just did a read undo. I did an undo. This is prior to us shooting all the columns up by 300. Now let's do a redo. Right, you see, you're not seeing the columns again. You as a beginner, this can be very confusing. Be like, oh, where are my columns? Have I deleted my columns? No, your columns are still in the project, but there's something that has happened now, which is called view range. Your columns are not in the view range of your foundation level, so that's why you're not seeing them there. Okay, your view range can only see just the footings, but it's not able to see what's happening at where the columns have now been offsetted to. You have to set your camera in such a way that you'll be able to see your columns, which are originally in the project, because on this view too, because it's sitting on top of the footing, so you should be able to see those columns, right? So problem one is your foundation, modeling your foundation, making sure that there's no clash between the footing and the column. Problem two is making sure that these columns which you offsetted are visible in your foundation level. So how do we make it visible? So you come to in your properties palette, you move to where we have what we call view range. Then you click on edit, and then you make some changes here, right? So associated level, foundation level, let's just make associated foundation level. Okay. So all we can do is to move this 500. I'll explain this later so you have a clear idea what's happening. I make this side 400. You can make this 0. You make this -2 already. Right, so you make click on apply. So automatically you see your columns are now appearing the way we want them to appear. Okay. So this can save you a ton of time when you understand what's happening. Okay. So let me briefly explain what we just did right now before we continue with our project. So let's go to our Word documents. Okay. Okay. So wow. Sorry, so let's talk briefly about view range. Okay, so you understand. So now every every plan level, right? Every plan view rather, sorry, every plan view is equal or associated. It's equal or associated with your level or datum level, datum line level, datum line or level, however you want to call it. Okay. So now you see we had foundation level, we have ground floor level, first floor, roof floor. So for every foundation level that we have a corresponding plan level. So we have a plan level, foundation level, and we have an elevation foundation level, right? So they are associated. Now, this association is important in the sense that your camera, right? Your camera is set in such a way that it can either see, I don't want to distort that, right? So if this is your ground floor level, right? Your camera, right, is set in such a way that it can see certain parameters. Let's say, for example, you are looking from top down. Let's say your bed eye view. So let's assume this your eye level. Let's assume this your eye level. Okay, pick a color. Let's assume this your eye level. So your eye level can see everything that's happening all this way. So this side here is your ground level. Okay. Your eye level from the top can see everything that is happening this way, right? Now, if you also have an eye level from the bottom, let's say you have an eye level from the bottom also, right? And this where eye is. So this where your eye is over here. So it means you cannot see anything above here because your eye level is not set to any level from this side, right? Going upwards. So going upwards from this side, you can't see anything. Okay. But when you look at the camera, you are able to see everything to ground floor where you now hit concrete. Okay. But you can't see anything below, right? Now you also set another camera though, and there's also a distance what you can see. There's also a distance what you can see, right? Now that distance what you can see, let's say it's 200 mm below the ground floor level, right? So what all these cameras setting means is basically leading to one thing, which we call our view range. Okay, very important you understand this. And our view range is made up of four things, right? One is your top level. One is your top level. Two is your cut plane. Three is your bottom level. And four is your view depth level. View depth level. Okay. That encompasses everything from this side all the way to this side, right? From this side, where your camera is set, all the way to the bottom side. Okay. So you have to make sure that when you have, let's say, five floor stories, UTC, you have to make sure you set your top level in such a way that, let's say you're on ground floor, your camera should be a little bit above the ground floor so that you can see very clearly what's happening. If you put your top level, right? This is our top level over here. This one here is our top level, right? If you put your top level below ground floor, right, it means that you'll not be able to see certain parameters that you may want to see on the ground floor. Okay, if it's architecture, maybe you want to see chairs, you want to see tables on the ground floor. But if your top level is below ground floor, it means you'll be looking at your ground floor plan, all right. But those elements will not be visible because your top camera has been set below your ground floor for that specific plan level, for that specific plan level. Okay. So setting your view range for each plan level or each plan view, setting your setting your view range for each plan view is very important, and it encompasses of your top level, cut plane, bottom level, view depth. Okay. So for each level, right, you can set your top level depending on what you want to see. Maybe there's a cabinet, you want to see the cabinet, you take lines clearly, right? And the cabinet from your ground floor goes up, let's say, this I'm talking about architecture now, goes up, let's say, 1.2 meters above the ground. You have to make sure your camera is above that by, let's say, point 2 or point 3 mm. Okay. Okay. Meters, 0.2 meters. So that's like 200 mm. Okay. So that you're able to see that with thick lines, not cut lines. Okay. So if you're top for typically what I do is that my top level, I give it 500 mm, 500 mm above my specific level which I'm actually working on. And I also give my cut plane 100 mm below this. So I give my cut plane 400 mm. Okay. My bottom level, I use the same level of the associated level. Let's say I'm on ground floor, I use that same level. So my bottom level, I just give it 0. There's no offsets with that one. And then my view depth, you can give it anything. You can say, okay, minus 100 mm from that level. minus 200 mm from that level, depending on what you want to see. I normally do minus 200 mm. Okay. So it helps a lot. So let's put this in mind. Anytime you are setting up a project, set your view range, right? Set your view range. That's very, very key. This will save you a whole lot of headache, right? As a beginner, else you get very confused and you give up on learning Revit, which is pretty cool to use. Okay, so let's move on from here and go back to our model. Okay, so now let's look at it one more time. So this is the view range is finding your properties palette. You go, you see view range, click on edit, and then you set it top level, associated level, foundation level. Because this is a foundation plan view. So you have to make sure your top is associated to your primary range for the top point is associated to that foundation level. You can't use first floor or something. Right? If I use first floor level, it's wrong. So you have to use that level that you're working on. Bottom level, foundation level. View depth also foundation level, minus 200. But this minus 200 will help in the sense that if we have a blinding, if we want to put a blinding component below our footing, right, which is, let's say, 100 mm below this footing, you can still place it and see that PCC, plain cement concrete, uh, projection beneath your footings, right? So if you don't have, and if this was zero, it means everything below the bottom of your foundation, you'll not be able to see it on your foundation plan view. Okay, so very important. So okay, and now let's be patient for the remaining ordering columns. The footings. So let's be isolated. This one is yeah, so but this F1, F1, F1 throughout. F1 throughout. Okay. Let's make placement. It's just like, ah, okay. Then, where did this lead come? I don't want this one. It's very height of such, been given ground level. I want this to be foundation level. Apply. That's what I want. Foundation level zero. So if you want it to be continuous throughout, once you select it, you click here, you give foundation level zero, just like that. Okay. And then you make placement. So you see you are not getting any error messages. You're making all the placement. You're making all the placements. Just remember to be saving your projects once you are working so that if in case light out or something, your laptop crashes, you still have access to your documents. So there's the placement. The placement of all the footprints currently. There's the placement, there's the placement on this side, this side. There's also an option for rotate after placement. In case all we have now is a square column, so it's equal on all sides. So, but in case maybe you're using like a rectangular footing where you have to orient it in a certain way, you can also click on this, rotate after placement, and then rotate the footing in such a way that meets the requirements for your specific project. So, pay attention to that. Listening all our placement. 1.2 by 1.4. So we are done with the placement of all the 1.2 by 1.3 foot by 300 mm. Now let's do the 600 by 600 for the stiffness. Okay, so you select the same isolated, and then you click on this properties palette side, move to this one, and you go to the specific area. Yes, over here. Okay. Make our placement. Okay, make our placement. But these columns are supposed to also be offset up by 200, not 300, because this what's the name? These columns are these footing sizes are 200, not 300. So let's correct that for all these sections and make it 200. Okay, let's also 300. It's exactly on it. Let's do I think we have for that side. Again, yeah, we have some two columns at this size. So replace them. This offset is 200. It's going to the ground floor level. Okay. Let's say 1, 2, 3. The top level is ground floor level, and then this offset is 200, not 300. So make sure you do that. Come again, put your isolated 600 by 600 again. You don't get any error for clashing. It's very important. Make the placement, make the placement over there. As simple as that. Let's click on escape right now, and let's see our project. Okay, so now we come to our combined, so we have a combined footing here because we have two columns together, right? And these two columns might carry different weights. I know that this CG for your load and that's what the CG for the footing should coincide. We have to do that mathematical calculation to make sure that you have what you need. You've done that precisely the way you're supposed to do it. So this one is 1 meter by 1 meter by 300. So I mean, if you can snap it how you want to snap it. So you can snap it at the grade line, which might not meet that requirement right by the way you want it to be. But what you can do after that is to make sure that you've precisely done that placement using, let's say, AutoCAD or, and then you can reference it that you get it correctly. Okay. Make sure your cantilever distances are all equal following the CG calculation, center of gravity, for the load and that for the fitting mass all coincide. There will be no stress displacement in your kitchen. Okay. So that's a bit technical. We are into drafting modeling, which is if you have just focus on that. So now let's look at where the center of this unit. So this center is here. We want to go up by what in 474, 474 from that side. It's 474. So let's just check because that's what we have 474 in our let's just take let's take a detail line. Put on that grade line, okay? And that grade line will go up 474, 474, 474. So this is where 474 is. It means we have to move this thing down. Okay. So we have to move this thing down. 474. We get it by that's happening again. Okay. Let me go back a bit. Looks like my 98 that is huge. Let's just take the research one. Delete. And then delete. Okay. So now let's do this one more time. And please detail line. Let's do endpoint 474, 474. That's right there. And that's just it. We select move. Let's right, that's good. Okay, so we have that select the left, select it, let's delete it. Now let's look at left to right and see if you also have the arrangement done properly. There's no, not properly. There's going to be some let's go to left to right from the same center line. Let's measure this one in the end here. We do at 500. Let's resolve what we have. Let's get three values. If you don't have that, you have to adjust it like we did for the other one. So good line with end, they have it like that's correct. For the description, let us go for the next one. That's what we have here. We can then be placement and then we correct it. So let's go to let's say this one. So let's go to structure isolated. Okay, so we have that and map it. Let's map it again. But we haven't corrected it anyway. So, okay, so let's see where it actually is now. So you see, there's another thing that you can also do if you don't want to be doing all this process like because you already have your reference drawing here, you can import this. You can import this video file into Revit or create a link file of this into Revit and then the all snapping it directly. So there are various ways you can go about it that you do this very, very fast. So but we are doing it manually so that we have a dose of it to model in Revit, and later on we look for efficient ways to do it. Okay, so for now, let's just do this manually, understand the full process, and then from there we can find efficient ways to run. Okay, so let's learn to work, and when the time is right, then we can start running. Okay, so let's see. Okay, the center, right? Okay. All the way to this side would be 650. So 650. Let's go to unfilled. Let's go to detail and let's do 650. Okay, so 650. Let's like it and this was 650. Oh, 650. Let's see. So let's just move. Let's do the end where we have the other components. That's just 650. Well, let's do it with my mind. Okay, so let me see this thing. Let's see if we have the other direction correct to from this side to the top, which would be 500 okay, and the other one is 500. Let's see if we have that correct. Let's see if we have that correct here. It's not. And there, all the way to we had it correct. So that's good. So we can literally just copy this picture instead of modeling it. Let's select this side. And then people say like this. Yeah, literally the same thing as the other one. And then let's also copy this one. Let's copy, select the center over here, and then put it over here like this. Okay, so we have all our fittings model in Revit. Let's connect this by a strip. Okay, let's model what a strip. Connect uh, that. So you know our strip has a strip has a width of 450. Strip has a width of 450. Standard measurement. So strip 450, and then depth of 200. Or you can use 150. So you can use 450 by 150. Okay. So strips. Okay. Then our blinding, there's also our blinding 150 offset, 50 offset all sides, all sides, there's 100 depth. Okay. So let me write this down. Let me see clearly. So we have our sheet, we have our sheet. Okay. We have our sheet has a standard dimension of 450 by 150 mm. So this is the breadth with the depth. Okay. And then we have our pieces. Okay. 50 offset all sides. 50 offset all sides, right? And 100 depth for our place and then from. Let's model that. So let's model our trip. So let's just see how So we have one straight line going across, but there's the horizontal, then we do the vertical. There's all the horizontals, then we do the vertical. So let's connect those. So we go to structure, then go to this one. This is the slab. This on this one, structural foundation slab. Structural foundation slab, and then let's select PC strip so we can edit one of them. So let's see what it is. Yeah, pick it, yeah, let's do. And then let's edit this one. Uh, this is uh, ours is 150 depth. So let's using the depth over there. Then click on edit and that's right. So that you change the depth over here. Nothing. That's 150 also. Okay. So we have that. Okay. So now we can model it. Yes. So what you can do is that you can move the best way to do this. Let's okay, let's see if we can do this one. Let's do 550. So let's use the line. Okay. So with the line, you know that it's going where 250 DC, right? So that's 550. 55, sorry, 55. And now back like this side. You can do 450 straight at that end. Then okay, it's not here like this. We close the loop, right? Come here. This already gives you that snap. Okay, give you the snap. Give you the snap to create it. Okay, I do the same thing for here. That's good. There's that one. Like that. Okay, do the same thing over in that, that, and that. Do the same thing for here to like that, like that, and like that. So okay, we do the same thing over here too, like that, like that. Okay, okay, then you do the same thing over here too, like that. It comes down over here, close it. You do the same thing over here too, then, close it. Do the same thing over here too, like that, come down, the left here, include it. Okay, let's also do the one for here too. Okay. Let's continue over here. The same thing is about the end. When you see those vectored lines, it means that okay, whether they know this interaction, let's use this one. Let's redo the line again. It's now perfectly at the that's why it's fairly there's that we get the right to this one. So zoom out so that you can have a view of it. Okay, so, yeah, you can zoom in now. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. And, also, that's actually, you know, no need to stress yourself with that side. Okay. Most time I leave, there are many ones over here. Maybe this one. Over here, up 55, now like this. Go down by 450. Then over this way, raise it at the end side. Then if you build the process all the way to sometimes you can even look at the distances to see the other thing copy and paste instead of doing one by one. It gets that's of the space. So once you close the lid, that good to do space. Okay, close the lid, do the same thing here, go down, close the lid, just like that. Come here, do the same thing as you do the whole was select, close the lid up like this. Come here, do the same thing. I'll share this project file also to you that you can actually go through it. And like that, I do this site. Okay. So, 55, then you come 50, 40, come back to the end, but that it's not big thing. But that, the end, you calm down. Okay, so that's the thing that's like 58. That's it. So do that for everything I said earlier. Make sure that you don't stress yourself very much. The process. If you have headache, drink water. Like I'm drinking now. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. So you start to do the same thing. 55. Go down by 450. First and time. Back here you go up a different. And then you reference the rest from this one. Again. Okay, let's be your program doesn't crash around this time, but it means you have to do everything from scratch. So the best thing is to be saving it alongside, right? Just save your work alongside so that you don't have issues with that save it. These are the line again. 415, enter, and then thing. Let me do this again. Okay, does this. Then type 450, press enter, or this one is after. Once it is done, it correctly. That's the one at this end. That's the 55, 55. Right. Please don't feel on me already. 450. Okay. How does let's do this one. This is our last one. 55 for the horizontal. Okay. Sometimes when you're casting on site, and then you have to have a strip casting methodology where you're casting all the horizontal strip first before you come and do the vertical one. So you're doing it like day by day. I think. So now we have all everything for the horizontal done, and you can just take all this stick mask. Yeah. So that's that we have all the horizontal done. And just just you can delete it. Okay. Okay. So you have all that done. So exactly the bank cost and us. Wait, let's see. Let's see this. So let's do all the horizontal. Let's do all the horizontal ones. And it's breaking down on a camel that you just have to go because it don't know. Body feel the street. There's a feeling to see, and you won't get on the count, but you can't be free. You got a new horizon. Come on, stop. Melancholy town where we never smile. All I wanna hear is a message. Dreams they gotta kiss me, cause I don't get sleep. No, windmill for the land. Hand in hand, take on the side. Falling down, it's really some music doesn't also oh get very clear. Ladies, ponies at the track. It's my song, shit, I'm standing in the heart of the city. Yeah, bear, running heart of the city. Free as a gravity. Yo, we gon' coast down this whole town. Tell sound. You don't fight the dust, can't fight with us. But don't stop. So don't stop. Yeah. Watch the way I'm You feel good. You have to feel good. Working with Revit, you have to feel good. Windmill from the lights. Make it on your mind. Easy. Somehow I still play the game. So I'm from the room. Won't know I was off by group. I'm truth, man. I barely even beat it. You say I'm snitching. I said I don't need your milk. Go ahead, be if I chase you. Tell your mom I catch you in the street. I might check her. She know I'm on parole. She called police on the phone. She just mad. Cause the fellas pockets on phone. She asked about some. I said, hey, no. I was telling the little home all about this bitch. Keep your mind on your money and don't trust no chick. Keep your head high, know your worth when the folks came. Put a smile out, we from fellas treated the same. This is real love. I know tips and tops and things. He got my heart down just because fellas ain't playing. Fellas get set up, messed up. You they go down on no money and burn up a little homie in my hood when it rains it falls. Stains on my stoop when I walk out car. Outside. I'm not. This the third time the fellas done circle the block. It's money out now. If a man is out, they love to catch a fella on a quick sale. They say it's cause they caught the body on your blowing just look. If you know the drill, you say that him gotta die. The thing was happening to the captain. What's up to the sergeant? You're being in a cage, man. That's for the purpose. Charlie Trump drank a sheep bread. Rolls on the curtain with numbers spot full of fellas. Found a bed, a few bucks. Number come out. Yeah, you can have on some love. Yeah, he stood the juice. He stumbled all mad, lost his read up money, and I saw he had magazine from the store so he could look at the colors and do pull-ups in the bar on the monkey bar. Man, it's rough, love. When I ain't over, hollow tips and tops. He got from heart, just because of the same thing. Remember, fellas ain't slim, so you have to learn Revit, okay? It's hard out there. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. So now we have our scripts. Let's now do our blinding PCC for the systems, okay? So you click on the same um, on the things. Oh, sorry, structure. Oh, I have to escape that thing I did. It's not that. Let's click on slab. Uh, let's make let's use the convey to. Okay, so I know what we'll do. Then let's change this to uh, let's change this to let's duplicate it to 100. Yeah, let's edit it. Make it 100 divided. Okay, click on OK, and then yeah, okay. So that's what we want to do. Let's height of the foundation that is minus 100 here, and that's 100 from the foundation level. Okay. Now let's select this one. Let's see, we have offset. Yeah, we have offset of 50. We want the offset of 50 and then see out everything. Okay. So you select here and then we select, yeah. Yeah. Okay. We do that for everything. Select here, select this other entrance that we have there. Yeah, that's your plain cement concrete blinding. Uh, that's how you do it. The same way it is on site. Okay. Basically the same thing. And the 50 on site all throughout the all throughout the system. Okay. Mm. Okay, so I think those intersect I have to take them out. Giving me errors for the intersection. Yeah. Then cooking those 5 hours. Yeah, oh, okay. I still have this 9, 10. Okay, so we have our strip. Let's check how it shows. So this is the 3D. How did my face come? Okay, so I don't want it to be that way, right? So I want it to be uh minus 400, minus 400. Okay, so that it goes down 300 and minus 400 rather. Okay, let's take from what irrigation so that minus 100. Okay, so let's so I'll switch minutes. So most of have issues. Most of have issues with our fitting. So let's select all our fitting and then select all this. Okay, and then there's this structural foundation. Uh, no. So what I'll do is I'll select this one. Then I'll do select all instances. Um, no, I'll select all the categories, right? So, it's a good idea. I think I selected that. Then we also select those things. Select all instances. This is the review. Yeah, I have that information. Height offset from foundation that we we have all that connected. Let's do for our scripts now because you have to make sure everything is connected adequately and there's no offset issues. Let's do the let's select all our scripts right now. That is foundation and let's select all our pieces. Let's select all our pieces. And then let's go to this validation. This one was uh, 300. So let's do zero and see what happens. Let me do zero and then an error will come. Oh, okay. So zero places was actually under the adjusted under the system. Or it's been adjusted under the system. That's good. Okay. So now the next one we have to try and correct is our fix, which fix. Okay. our kids are also being there. Funny manner, we have to also send them up. So that's the truth solution to I really. I wanted to come up like the let's come out like the 15th person. Let's do it in the section. Yep. Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah. Find out okay. So do some filling, then we'll do that. Filling, compacting, and then we'll do that. And then let's select let's select this one. Foundation ID. Let's select all of this one. Select all CVC view. Let's send them up by 200. Okay. So that you know that they are all connected. They are foundation connected. Yeah. And then yeah, this script once here. Let's go to foundation level. Let's select the script for actually. Because they're all acting as one to that way. Okay, so I think this is okay. It's okay for us. Now everything is better. I'm going to get this span direction symbol. And then yeah, so now we have our place and then concrete. We have our strips, we have our fixing, everything is done. If you want, you can also add dimension into it. So you can then do let's your let's yeah, so let's just do this. Let's save our project. And then we add dimension into it and this to make it let's see just give your grid lines out the okay, okay. Let's let's do this after basically 2 days. So I just want to move down. Then let's give brown dimensions and let's give let's do the same thing on the other side. Let's give the dimension or the address. Let's pick select this in the style. We have the right one. And that's the hard part of modeling the foundation. And you're done with that. The rest is just column, beam, slab. That's a column slab. It's easy. It's honestly speaking, not difficult like that. You just have to be a bit pragmatic. So once you get good, you just think of ways to be able to finish your work very extremely fast. Efficiency. So yeah, so you have that. Fine. Also do the dimension under your that what you want to do. Everything I did in that and looking under your bag. And everything, everything, Yes. No cloud in my smoke. Let it rain, I have a plane. Coming down with the Dow Jones. When the clouds come, we go, we rather well. We fly higher than weather. We fly forever. No. In anticipation for reciprocation, stack chips for the rainy day, rain. With a little on the sunshine, we are nowhere. There'll never be one apart, maybe in magazine. You'll still be my star, baby. I've been the dark, you can't see shiny cars, and that's all you think you there when you now that it's more than ever, know that we'll still have each other. Stand on the Okay, so yeah, we're now with the foundation. So you can just see like this, and then so if you watch it completely, you can see this foundation. This one is going up a bit up, and then not supposed to be that way because this one is all the so when you're drawing it, just make sure that the one that it has foundation like level difference, you don't combine it together. Okay, so it's very important. Okay, so let's go to our ground floor now. Uh, so yeah, I see ground floor, but you're seeing footing stuff, right? Like, you don't want to see different stuff like ground floor. Yeah. So when you see something like that, what comes to mind? Don't panic. You just have to know that your view range is not set correctly. You have to correct it. Make sure that you don't see what's meant for foundation or ground floor. Okay, so you just go to your view range over here, and then you edit it to the same as see. So you see, this is ground floor. So okay, ground floor, this is ground floor. But this shows view depth of -1008. So from that side, everything that goes from ground floor all the way 1.8 meter, you are going to see it. Okay. And you know that if you check our elevation, you know that from ground floor to foundation is 1.75. Right, to this foundation level. And now you have a view depth of 1.8, right? It means your camera can see everything all the way down and like that. Okay, you don't want that. So that's where the issue is. That's okay. So this is 500, this one is 400 from the ground level. This one is 0, and this one is -400. Okay, click on apply to see only column. That's what we want to see. Okay. And I think that it's as simple as that. So you don't be confused. So let's see how our ground floor looks like. Yeah, yeah, this how ground floor beam system configuration. Okay, this is about ground floor beam system configuration. So you have to do sheets in that order. We have the ones and the string parameters. So let's have beam. So let's do beam. Let's take also to like 300 and then let's map them. Okay, like that. So, um, let's do the one for the string parameters. Yeah, we have some beam connecting those two together. Yeah, that's the way. Yes, connect them. So we are doing for the extreme perimeter of our building. Yeah, we're going to do it inside. Yeah, it's not rocket science. Quite easy to do. Uh, Suppose that needs okay. So now we can do let's realize this one. Okay, so there's that side. There's this side like this, like this. Okay. So we have left, we have okay, wait, let's have that's yeah, else like this. But this how this the beams that cut across in your grade slab enable you to do your compaction, get the optimum compaction ratio level as your material dry density. That's our corridor. Yeah. It should be so it's something when you have this in chain, that's what's enabling us to draw it multiple. If this is stand off, we can't draw it multiple. So sometimes you don't know if this is stand on or so you have to look at it very well, make sure that it's stand on if you're going to draw multiple beams at a group. Okay, very important. That's actually okay. So they have for this guy, very quite. where else do we have it? Yeah, for this and four, just like that. We have again at the edge of my so that's like just like that. Uh, when they come another relax sleep, yeah, probably the verse of best sleep, what this kind of that one. I think that 0.82, 0.825, 0.825. Okay, I see to that one. So let's just do on a page and then detail and relax. Page 875, okay? Let's find out. You know where to build up the when that time comes. You know, structure, also like the so we have that on us so we have down so there. Okay, so now we have our bounce law. All the arrangements that is required for bounce law. So next thing that is doing is our draw slabs. Because before we do that, let's look at something. When you look at the, let me see this modified. When you look at the architecture, you see that that's why we have some step down. To do 600 is 600, yes, 750, step out, 750, all the 750, 600. There are some step downs inside 600, 750, 150 mm step down, significant step down. Okay, so we have to be able to achieve all this. Okay, so when doing our slab, we have to be very meticulous in that process. So the next thing that we do after doing it is draw our slab. Uh, the draw slab. Okay, so we just have to create. Let's see this beam on this side. So that's the change. How's not turning on the place for you? That so that so all you go to is structure about this one. Okay. Let's select let's see, yeah, also two foundations about okay. Right, thank you. Very okay. So let's select this one. Okay. something like that. Let's look for all the things that we have the 765 to, uh, to the bedroom in the 760. So that's between 67 step down, 7, 8, 8, 9, 7, 8, 8, 9. And then I need 5. The, the ones that are close together, 5 to 7, the ones far apart are okay. The, everything that's like okay. Yes, but these ones are the the like I like because it's still the same model that we have the very big bulb display. And the resolution and those places. Okay. So, so you have what's like that. Like the rest are step downs. You don't like them like that. You know, and let's do some realistic. No, let's do shaded rather. That's the plan so far. Okay. So we want to go the other slab that have the step down. But pay attention to how we are doing that way. Okay. So this is the corridor, all this side is the corridor. This is a balcony, washroom, water closet, balcony, other side, staircase area. The other side I have like step downs over there. Let's see. That's what happens. I think that's the very staircase. Um, like, this side is what we have with the because it goes all the way to the 4 and the other one is the roof. Okay, let's do our best to that's all we can do. Let's select this and then let's pick uh we pick this one. I think that's why we have okay, so what we do is we pick the cup, we pick the cup. Yes, let me use Superman. That, I'm not giving me options to select this. Looks nice. Okay, I do all the slab parts once. Uh, you let me click on okay. So select the foundation. Let's just select our this thing. Okay. It's in the slab as a foundation. Not and that's perfect. It counts. That's what why I select another different this again. Okay. So now the 3D um, let me go to my down for level. Like, that's perfect. This elevation, so this, I'm not seeing my, because I've not done for everyone. Let me see what else. See the, okay, so you know what we'll do? Instead of doing that, let's cut a section. Okay, let's cut a section. Let's cut a section. From here to there. The very good one. So I want to select this. That's what I've always wanted to select all this one. I mean, edit this edge. You know, I can take this one and bring it over here. Take this one, bring it over here. Okay. Then I extend this one, make this one, and I extend this one, make this one. Okay, so that's what I wanted to do on this stuff. Okay, so now we have that one. Let's delete this section out, right? Yeah, delete this section. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is now model the step down one. So let's select the change now just 150. So this time let's do minus 150 offset. For those slab right, so just delete. Make sure it's coming all the this. Let's see how a model 60 times model. Okay, so we have that slab. Let me delete it. And then yeah, so then we do the same thing for the corridor. Do the even if I do that, this all this one, so you know they have to go down to meet those elevations. You understand? They have to select all these ones and then send them down. So end level offset uh minus 150 also minus 150 because that's a step line. Okay, so you have to have that one and okay, so okay, yeah. So this also minus 150. Yeah. It comes down like that. Okay. So this also minus 150. So we also have that step down. Okay. So we also have that step down. That side. This side to minus 160 and minus 160. So we have that step down there. Right. Very good. This side does have the minus 150 there. So we have it down and after this step down, when we go, we climb on top. So this new thing to a step down to minus 150, then also a minus 160. Yes. Okay. So we also have our step down on that side. That's fine there. It's not a step down. So it's okay. Let's get like that. Maybe. Uh, that's like the first. You have that elevation difference and that's very key. Let's say this one again. Very important. Now let's go all this. This side is 154. But that's a corridor. 600 all the way to the end. All step down. All step down to the end. That paying for all these course bills. Okay, all these course bills. Elevation, we did the elevation of 750, right? So that's why we are doing this. If it was 600, we would have done 150 up for the other side. So minus 150 minus 150. Okay, to capture the step down, uh, we are going to be, okay. So now let's go the slab and take another. Let's let's go the let's go the slab. So annotate. So we go to chapter and then we'll go to this one. Then click on this. We have this foundation tab, so we click on this one. Let's select the middle one middle the expression is the down here. Okay. They have it all the just like that. Yeah. Need to do what are the deadlines now? I'm going to delete this. Okay. So there we go. We have that way. Uh, the reason why you're not seeing it because inside the slab there, which, but the beams are still supposed to show. That's why I'm coming. How did those beams go? Let me cut a section to that beams and see how those beams went. It's as simple as that. We're studying to see how the beams are behaving at those that section. Use the slab and use the beam. Went down from that level by we don't want that. We want it to want the ability to share the same. So let me do zero and then let do zero. So okay, it sends it up. Okay, it sends it up like that. Then drop them. So now I see the view there like this. Okay. Now I see the view like that. Okay. So meaning this being about the slab level, we don't want it to act that way. So let me go to the view. Let me go to the view. So that's the view I have here. This view, so I send it that level of let me do a most command here. I know. So it's supposed to act monolithically. It's, you have to be, oh, okay. So it's actually there. Oh, it's actually there. Okay. So it's 300. So the beam is 300. So let's see. measure from here to this side. It's a 300 degrees. So 150 is down, and 150 is sharing in the slab. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay. But I prefer to be able to see those dotted lines. I know why, I know why, I know why, I know why, I know why. So if we delete this one, right? Okay. Uh, let me send it, but let me put that level back. I know why it's asking now. So let me, because of how I drew, it's how I drew the slab. Okay. So I drew the slab all through. Okay. So if I had done it day by day, I would have sent those dotted lines to indicate the beam, which actually wants to see. So let's go to view. Let's select let's select the slab beam. Let's go back to ground floor. Let's delete it. Okay, so we deleted it. Now we have all this, but I want to see. Let's draw our slab. But this time around, let's draw them individually. Okay, without any I'd have to delete this one too, but there's a beam somewhere here I want to see. Okay. So let's go to the structure. Let's go to this. Let's clean this. And then select nothing like that. And then line space not from close with. Let's see if I can. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's do this. So what we'll do is that we go them one by one. Okay. So once I do this one, and then I talk like this, I will take like this. Okay. Um, okay. So we have that. So we have our first dotted line. Let's let's go again. Another one to let's do this side. Let's select the that this should have still hiding it. Let me see something. If I do filling line, filling line she doesn't show me my thing. That's it. Filling line not showing but that's it. Oh, no, yeah, the game good. Oh, oh, I don't know what to do with my view range. Let's see something. Does it have something to do with my view range? Uh, but now I'll send that one down by originally the level was this is uh, let me do this. Let me add uh let me do negative 152. That'll be negative 350. Let's apply. Okay. So that's my view range. Okay. So you have to be pretty much very pe- peculiar with view range. Because view range is the reason why we aren't able to see those lessons. You have to be looking at it very well, meticulously. Okay. So it's not about how I do this lab. Mm. It's better the fact that my view range wasn't so let's just go to view, and the ground floor. No, I don't delete everything. I just want to delete this one. Go to view, and go to ground floor. No, 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 no. Go to view. And then, okay, it doesn't, it's not a big deal. If, like, so I wanted to just run this slab through like I did previously, but I mean, we can't waste all day on that. Let's just select this one, select this one, and then let's take it just like this, and then that still going to see your beams over there. Because yes, and the food that you're not seeing it, but it's there. Yes, here we go. Uh, let's do another uh, slab. Which yeah, let's select this one. All the ones that you have not done are all the same. They are all step down. Step down. But that's I didn't have again. There's, but we can't have. Yes, you have to put a beam there. Yes, you have to put a beam because we can't have a slab automatic step down without a beam connecting the beam. So let me put a beam there. Uh, put a beam there. Yes, just like that. And, then yeah, let's just draw another one on this side. If I just do a step down, yes, what is definitely all this slab have to come down by 150, and it is 150 all throughout. This one have to come down by negative 150. Let's click on apply. Okay, have it down. Let's give our model. Okay. Okay. All this one have to come down by 150. accommodate step down that we have there. But as I said earlier, we need a level 750 up from natural ground to meet the step up. So for this step down build, you have to go down by the relative amount to meet the step down. So those keeping that in mind. Okay, so we've done that there. Let's do the same thing for distance here. Um, I will select a point. If we can apply, we have that there, and then we can there's the outside. There's the outside to use that step down that we have. So this one we can very good approach to the angle. Yeah. All these things we actually do it now. Yeah, but that's why you have the watch for the phone. Watch from going there. This also to something. Step up slowly in the room. When you just have a dance accepted. Doesn't make sense that your room has a higher elevation than the bathroom. Uh, high elevation and then washroom is lower. Okay, so okay. Let me send them down by minus 160 minus 150 of that. Okay, so we have that. Just like that. Remove that one. Uh, do the same thing with this side here. This is the outside of the up. So this outside side of the outside. Side of each other. So it's that's the voice one. Let's have have to have the zero, zero like that. Okay. 1.5 up. Okay, so you have a step down there. When you step up, this side and the hard back. So if you fix this side of it, then how can I say that the block with you know, even be same. Just like that. Okay, so you can see it's the rate. So the block with this. Let's send you all the first. So let's give offset of negative 150, negative 150. Let's apply that. Okay. So let's do the slab at that side now. Slab, okay. Let's do our slab and then thing. On that side. Let's do this. Uh, find the area. Minus 150, yeah. Minus 150, yeah, looks like. And then click on apply. Minus. Okay. So let's draw our foundation slab on that side. So select this one, and then you drag to the end there. And then let's go to structure again. Foundation slab. The end like that. Click on the tick mark for how that's true. Select this one, and then select this one. Okay. So now we have our slabs, and then we have our beam system. So let's confirm the elevation, right? So let's go to uh let's go to annotate. Let's check our first elevation over here. So over here we have 1.6. Right. So we're supposed to have a 1.6. Over here we have 1.75. Okay. So this is showing you those elevational differences. There's a corridor, washroom 1.6, 1.6, 1.6, 1.6. Uh, there's our beam. Okay, let's go focus on that 1.75. The beam is supposed to also be saying 1.6. But it's showing as the bottom level of the beam. Like this beam and then this should have the same level. 1.6 and this one should also be 1.6. Okay, 1.6. Showing as 1.45, which might be the case. Well, we sent it down 150. So if we sent it down 150, oh, okay. If being if our slab is going down 150 from that in the 150 from the 175 to give us 160. Yeah, that's what I think. 160. Yeah, so these games are giving you 160. So this one is going to give you the same thing. I don't know why I'm giving me something different. Yes, but anyways. Yeah, that's wanted to show you the elevation difference. So the corridors as opposed to the rooms. Okay. So when it comes to when we are annotating the what's the name? The slab, then we have to look at it very carefully. Well, you don't make any mistake there. So let's do this. So let me do a 3D so that you see how the 3D looks like. You can see how the 3D looks like over here. So you can see the step down, right? So this is how it is. They're looking at it from the you can see the step down, wherever we have the step up, the also same of the in here too. As you want to construct it, that's how it looks also over here, right? So, let me see this module. Let's go to our roof legend because that's what to do. So we do our first floor, then before we do our roof legend. Like, we do our first floor, then let's check the view range for this one. Let's just correct this. 500 associated level. This one is 400. This one 0. This one let's say minus 350. We factor in there. Apply. Okay. Okay. Did I? You can edit it. Yeah. So the first floor. Apply. And that's good to see there. Okay. So that's how it is. Now we just do the same thing. So for us not to what's the name? Okay. So if you want to do this fast, you can just go to your browser, select the view, select all instance, into the view, it's literally selected all the views that we have there. Now, all you can do is that you can copy this, copy to clipboard, okay? Then you go to your first floor, and what you do is paste, you put on this paste that, from this is coming to class. That's why you have to be saving your module. Oh, yeah, so it crashed. So let's go back to ground floor. Then let's select all the beams. So select all instant visible in view. Let's copy it by copy to clipboard. Now let's go to the first floor. Let's click on this the paste and paste aligned to current view, right? So I'm pasting all the beams aligned to the current view. Okay, so all the beams have been pasted. Let's look at the view range to see if okay, so the view range is good. Yeah. So, uh, this beams are copied at 350 by 350 by what 300 by 150. So we're not going to use that. What we were going to change everything to what's the name? 200 by 200 by 450. Then the design intent. Let's look at the orientation for first floor beams. Let's look at how the first floor beams are oriented as different. We don't have any different. Yeah. Uh, yeah, so let's delete this one. This one is not there. Let's delete them. They are not on the first floor. Uh, we have this extension. Then we have one also. Yes, so that's 3023 in the network. So we have some things at that side. Yes. What is the structure? And the that's the standard by 450. Okay. So we have laser like this. Yeah. We have another one for you like this. So let's do it for this side too. Yeah, let's go back and we do it again. And then I try to do that for you. Over here, we don't necessarily even need a beam. We can just have the slab extension amount at that side. I think we can just set the slab extension amount, but just for continuation sake, when there's the beam in there like that. But we don't necessarily need the beams at this section. Okay. Uh, okay. So right now, what we can do now is to let's see if we start all the beams where they're supposed to be. Okay, okay, it's really high. Yeah, we have everything how it is. What we can do right now is to copy everything. Then we want to select only the uh, 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 select all instances visible in the view, right? And then we change, let's change them, right? Not about property. Okay, so it's going to change everything. Done by 450. Yeah. So we change everything to standard by 450 to meet the requirements on this level. So the next thing I will now do now is just to put in our structural slab. So this one, we are not going to use the foundation side, we're going to use this one and the reflect on both structure. And then let's use FDR 150. I think look at this. Let's see if there are step downs. Oh, sorry guys. Let's see if there are step downs on for first floor. Okay, so there was no indication. So yeah, there's no indication for first floor having step downs like we had for the what's the ground floor. So it does it all one level. Okay. It does it all one level. So let's do it on this side. That's one. Let's let's be realistic so that we can see it very optimistic. Let's, let's delete this one from there. Let's search off your let's do, let's do, so we have staircase adaptation. So we can skip away. So let's do from this slide 11. It's all the way to this page. Right. Let's really take another again. Let's take the and the one. Let's come out the let's just see. I think this was a mistake. I think this was a mistake. So let's just let's delete this right. Delete and the grade line 4, grade line 4, or it's grade line 3 rather, yeah, grade line 3. Then, we go all the numbers. Then, what's happening? Um, I think I know I it's going to be when the this time. So sometimes the software glitches, so you have to There's to be very strategic in it. Let's give like the corridor that we have this is a corridor and and let's give like this basically that's the this side also and and give this like we will also give for this other corners like the floor structure. So you will see, so let's see if we can also give from this side without not cutting that. No, there's any so you can also do them all at one by one. Okay, you don't necessarily mean that you have to wait for we have the less the less or the select or instances to be here, like and then send our levels to like all this level. Copy copy from the other one. That's like that. Okay. Yes, we can apply. Want all of this to be on at one level. Okay, it's again be any different. So we have this one. Also, doing all this. Slide that as right. There, I don't want any object. Then uh, let's check this thing. Uh, I hit it so that I could this thing. So I just unhide the element. So yeah, so now let's do our last floor. We'll model the staircase. And then we start putting in covers. We put all the covers into our members. Then we start doing detailing after that. So let's see the model our last floor now. Now our first floor. Let's model our this floor now. Okay. So this one to go to view range. Let's correct this view range. Let's do it 500. let's do this 400. Let's change this one to this level. Let's change this to yeah, that's the those level. Yeah, place it yeah, hey, sorry. Supposed to be minus 350. Minus 350. Apply. Okay. So we have it. No, so what we can do after this previous things, we can just copy all the games. So it's similar. This is if you they will copy it. Okay. Then go to use floor level. Then we please align to current. And then we have all the games. And then, yeah. Yeah, so we have all things arranged nicely there. So let's see how the roof system looks like. So this roof, without any of those projections, so let's take a look at take what the projections are. Let's take all those projections out. Let's delete the fast load, first load, that's one. That's one. We have that one. Which one to let's delete it out. Then let's delete this. Let's extend this to giant this side, okay? Just like that. And then we already have this side. So let's do a beam at that side. So structure beam. Let's connect this. Okay. And then let's connect this like that. Let's delete the extension that we have to. So let's put them in realistic so that we see how the shaded rather. So let's see our model. Let's save our model. Okay, save the model. Let's look at the website. Uh, let's rename this one out. Let's delete this one. Let's delete this one. Let's delete this one. This one. Let's delete this one. Suspend this idea. And then, it matches the designer. Look like it's in 3D. Now we have our full building model from the foundation, ground floor, first floor, and then our framing for the roof floor before they will now come and put in the roof trusses later on. So, the design without the roof trusses on it. later on future videos we'll add roof trusses to the system. But it's just a typical shell and core framed building. Okay. Um, let's see. So see you guys tomorrow. We'll do staircase, we'll do giving the covers, and we'll start looking at some other critical aspects, modeling and then detailing of it. Thank you. Thank you all for your time.